stage. Set the rules.
Hi everyone, this is Chernobyl from Go2 Gamers, and I'm sitting here with Black from Mousesports. How do you like the event so far?
It's pretty good. I think it's much better than TI3 so far.
What makes it better than TI2?
Just the whole organization is better. Like the time schedule is much better. There are not as many delays if the games don't go to 98 minutes. Like they take much better care of the players. The players' lounge is much better than last year. Yeah, so it's pretty good so far.
What was the problem with the players' lounge last year?
There wasn't enough food for everyone, so like half of the guys there had to hunger. But this time there's more than enough.
It's because they don't allow media like us in there to steal all your food, I think.
Yeah, but you have food on your on backstage, right?
No. We'll have to buy our own food, so for us it sucks. But I mean, for you guys, it's obviously the most important.
Well, that's why we're players, right?
Of course, of course. How did preparations go for this tournament?
We had. Like, the only thing we had was the boot camp. That was only 1 week, and that was obviously way too short. That's why we performed so poorly here. And I don't know. I'm not satisfied at all. Like, we are super lazy.
How come it was just 1 week?
Like, originally I wanted to have like 2 months, but the whole team had like problems in the past with long boot camps. They had bad experiences. And they said like a month. I was like, okay, sure, then we have a month. But then after a month, you know, something came in between again, and that happened again and again and again until we only had 1 week.
Because you guys, just before the international, you guys were doing really, really well. What do you think went wrong, like between the last tournament and this one?
Like online, we did really, really well, and then just every team played so much better on LAN because they were so much more prepared than we were. As I said, we only had 1 week of practice and we couldn't really practice any new strategies or anything. That's why we were super predictable, and every team just exploited that.
So that's you felt this in the group stage too? I mean, how early did you feel like, oh, this isn't going that well?
Well, after we played Navi, we lost 3 games and won 1 game. Then we were already pretty shaky because we have been figured out by every team. And then we just kept on losing almost every game because we just got outdrafted.
What are the dynamics like in the team? Who is making the decisions in the game?
It's mostly Fata, but that's not optimal because he's a solo middle player. So he doesn't have the map overview as a support player would. So that's why we usually don't make optimal calls. Then we take bad engagements, which leads to falling behind a lot, and then the enemy just keeps building the advantage up, and then we lose because of that.
Synderen isn't making the in-game decisions?
No, he's mostly just doing the draft, and he didn't feel confident making the in-game calls. That's why Fata did it.
If you would do the drafts, would you pick any different heroes?
I definitely have a lot of drafting ideas, which others didn't, approve at all, which made me kind of upset because before this tournament started, I wanted to pick a lot of Naga SF in one team. Everyone was like, no, it's really bad, it's really bad. And this tournament we have seen 10, 15 times already. So I'm really upset about that, and I don't know, just now it's too late to complain.
So you wouldn't pick anti-mage every game?
No, I wouldn't. It's not always good. It's just good in I don't know, maybe 10% of the games here because of the heavy push meta game.
What do you think are the big differences between Western and Eastern Dota?
I think the Eastern Dota is much more calculated, and the Western Dota is, they just dive towers, they rush in, they're just a little bit chaotic. That's why I think the West counters the East pretty good, pretty well, because they can't really handle that chaotic style because they only play with calculated teams. That's why Alliance did really well versus LGD today, and that's why all the Chinese teams will have a hard time versus the Western teams here.
I understand that you've been playing versus Burning 2 games now in this tournament. And I think Burning is a player you really look up to, right?
Yeah, he's my idol. Yeah.
How does it feel playing against him?
Honestly, I was pretty nervous in the first match. And they just pretty much owned us in the first game. And in the second game I was just pick me apart and I want to arrow Burning, and then I just kept arrowing him all the time. That felt pretty satisfying. But in the end we just lost because DK is really, really crazy in late game. Their decision making is unbelievably good.
You played versus Burning last year too, right? In the group stage?
Yes.
Was it any different?
Not really. It was still, it's just really exciting playing versus your idol, just because, like, how well will you do versus him? Will you outfarm him? What will he do to you? It's like that. It's pretty thrilling.
Do you usually follow all of DK's games? Like watch the replays, watch the VODs, watch them live?
Yeah, like even now I still watch their Dota 1 replays, and I'm a huge fan of the team, just because like I've been following them for like ever since the team got formed, which was like 2010 I think. Ever since then I've been following them. I pretty much watched every game. I'm just a huge fan of the team.
Would you rather see yourself playing in China or something, like LGD International?
My plan is definitely to move to China, just because I think the players there have a much better mindset than the Western players, with an exception of Alliance and Na'Vi. But it's really hard to find players like that, especially 5 of them. I just think in the East it's much easier to find players like that, and the training environment is much better as well.
Do you speak any Chinese?
Not really. I only learned some words and some sentences, but not really.
You can say like ni hao or something.
I can say ni hao and can you please give me a uniform and stuff like that.
Have you ever had have you ever been in a situation where you need a uniform from a Chinese person?
Not really. I just asked the LGD owner to give me a uniform because I think they look really cool, and she's gonna send me one.
Oh yeah, really? That's awesome. Who's gonna win the international this year?
I think the favorites are definitely Alliance, but who I would like to win is DK. Just so Burning thinks about maybe not retiring. I really don't want him to leave the scene.
Would you call Burning the MVP of this tournament?
Like so far, he played pretty flawless on the carries. Like he made nearly no mistakes in any games, so he's definitely MVP for me. And the carry role anyway.
Are there any other players that stands out in any of the other positions, like support, solos?
Like Ferrari did a phenomenal job in the middle lane. He pretty much dominated every matchup he had. And support-wise, I think it's Kuroki. He's making really big plays. Na'Vi, setting the tone for the team.
Do you think that's gonna, like this kind of support play from Kuroki, do you think that's gonna take them to the finals?
Well, I expect him to lose versus Alliance in the winner bracket. But as I already said, the chaotic style Na'Vi has is really hard to deal with for the Asian teams. So seeing them in the final isn't very unlikely. So it might happen.
What about the future for Mousesports and for you guys? Do you have anything planned so far?
Obviously everyone is pretty down right now, and I don't know the future of the team after this event. I guess we'll talk about it when we're back at home or something. But seems pretty likely that we'll have some roster changes maybe, because everyone's pretty unsatisfied with the whole situation. But I can't really say much more than that because we haven't really talked about it yet.
So I heard from Bidis that you're really good at ping pong. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, well, I played this ping pong tournament at DreamHack, DreamHack Summer, I think, just the last DreamHack, and then I played versus the winner of the tournament, and I got 5 points out of 11, so I think I'm pretty good at it, yeah.
So who would win in a ping pong match between you and Burning?
I think it would definitely be me, because I would just counter all of his hits with a smash, and he wouldn't be able to stop that.
That sounds pretty awesome. I wish we could see that here. I mean, a ping pong battle between the stars. But yeah, thanks for the interview, man. Do you have any final shoutouts?
Yeah, shoutouts to all of my fans and supporters, as well as our sponsors, BenQ, Razer, Guile, Tortec, and XMG.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.